J.D. Vance should be the next president of the United States after Trump finishes off this second term. J.D. is a very effective spokesperson for all the principles that you just espoused. In a way, Trump doesn't even try to be. You know, Trump is funny. Trump is entertaining. Trump is a great marketer and messenger just in his quick, language where he boils down an issue to 5 words that even a 5th grader or a 3rd grader can understand. Very effective. Very, very. But JD can go really in depth on these issues and really give voice. If you want to serve in the American Armed Forces, you should have to be in shape. There should be a bare minimum of fitness. And Pete is living. He's practicing what he preaches. Now, this came as very unfortunate news for the women.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today, I just wanted to come on here and tell you that if you're a leader, it doesn't, any type of leader, right? You could be a drill sergeant like me, a section NCO, a platoon sergeant, a first sergeant. And if you think that you are going to have the capability to be disrespectful, to be malicious, to be spiteful with people's careers, with the people that work for you in general, just remember, karma knows your name. And sooner or later, she's going to charge you. So treat people with kindness and respect.
Yes, I don't understand why people would consider this banned. I've seen a lot of comment like, oh, he called up generals to insult them, to fat shame them. That is what liberals are writing on social media. They don't have any problem with people gaining a lot of weight, being in the military. They don't have an issue with that. To me, I saw that to be very important because you need to call out certain things like this for people to adjust, for them to take shape. That is necessary. I don't understand why the meltdowns everywhere on social media. It got to a level they had to do a whole segment talking about it. Sometimes when I watch these people, I laugh all through. Crazy, right? If you have not subscribed to this channel, please endeavor to do that and always try to share the videos.
If you want to serve in the American Armed Forces, you should have to be in shape. There should be a bare minimum of fitness. And Pete is living. He's practicing what he preaches. Now, this came as very unfortunate news for the women of The View. You're shocked, I know, given the elite form that the women are in over on that set. But I think everyone was asking themselves, what does Joy Behar think? And I have the answer.
The newly renamed Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, spoke to U.S. military leaders from around the world to lay out his very retro vision for our armed forces. Why is he obsessed with fat?
Yeah, and fitness and...
Fat, yeah, and fitness. Add Sonny Hostins too.
I mean, what do you mean, why? We're talking about a military here. We're talking about a fighting force. Like, this is quite... You're going to be intimidated by people that look like me. That's the problem. You don't want that in your military. You want someone who's going to step up and provide that image.
I could do it, according to this.
I won't necessarily speak to that, but I'm very lost on the fact that it seems like it's become a Republican Party position out of nowhere that the U.S. military is weak. We're the greatest fighting force in the history of mankind. U.S. troops are deployed in over 100 countries around the world. We are also a deterring force. The idea of American military strength is that you avoid having to get into wars by being as strong as we are. And I know that people think it's weak or it's woke to say that our diversity is our strength, but the thing that's so unique about the United States, we are the most diverse nation on earth, and we have the most diverse military on earth, socioeconomically, racially, religiously.
So what's this about?
All of these people from different backgrounds come together and fight for the American values. So I don't understand why we have to denigrate the military to try to talk about doing better. And I would also mention, we did have a recruiting crisis, but in 2024 and 2025, the military met recruitment goals, which is huge. Final thing, I did not like that Pete Hegseth, who did serve his country, but chose to denigrate the service of others. He name-checked 3 generals, 2 that I served with.
And fat-shaming. Big
2 that I served with, General McKenzie and General Milley.
Yes, I see his speech yesterday as a bold and necessary reset for the military. Finally cutting through the woke bureaucracy that is being strangled. Our war fighters, his 10 directive announced alongside President Trump rightly prioritize combat readiness, discipline, and a no-nonsense approach to national security over politically correct nonsense like DEI offices and distractions by renaming the Department of Defense the Department of War and demanding loyalty to a mission first equals. Head is restoring the military core purpose to intimidate, harm, and defeat enemies, not to cut the identity politics, while Libras clutch their purse over the blunt reality. This is exactly the kind of leadership needed to rebuild a strong, unified force ready to confront real enemies, right?
I'm actually really befuddled by why he did that. The optics were terrible, meaning all of our top military brass are all in one place, and we spent $6 million to get them there. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. It also didn't make a lot of sense to me that he was saying that he was going to toughen physical standards and review the anti-hazing policy by sort of implementing a hazing policy. And then also he said he was going to return to the highest male standard for combat positions because the troops were fat.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that was supposed to be an uplifting message for our military.
Maybe he's referring to Colonel Sanders.
It was really a bizarre thing. He started talking about woke DEI policies. By the way, there are no gender quotas in the military. By the way, he fired more than a dozen military leaders, many of them people of color and women. He fired the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, General Charles Brown Jr., who is African-American. Yeah. He fired the first woman to command the Navy, Admiral Alyssa Franchetti. I don't understand the sort of hypocrisy of firing these people, having all these people meet together and then denigrating them.
Yes, I don't know why these people will always find fault in anything linking to Trump. I understand that they will always do that. Now taking a look at the whole thing, while Libras are criticizing this, like, oh, this meeting was just called on to fat shame these people. To me, I don't see that as a problem. Calling people to action, like you need to be ready at any time, you need to be in shape, that is not something controversial. These are things we usually say indoors. You need just one person to call it out. And when you do that, they will start calling you name. And this is exactly what we are witnessing now. The view grumbling, putting out ridiculous segments like this about this whole thing, I don't understand. But TDS is real. So when I see people talking like this, I have no issue because that has always been how it is.
Vice President Maybelline was making the rounds, attempting to defend his boss and the chairman of the FCC with a new fairy tale even a 5-year-old wouldn't believe.
Celebrities are rallying to his cause, saying this is a First Amendment assault being carried.
My ratings aren't very good. Last time I checked, your ratings are somewhere between a hair in your salad and chlamydia. This is the first interview that you've done since the unthinkable happened, and it was
right because I generally don't. I give interviews. I don't do them.
JD Vance should be the next president of the United States.
I want to appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting me, sharing out my videos. I'm going to end here. As of the short, please, you can skip.
Not happening at the moment.
Yeah. President Obama
is blatant censorship
because he says he has a team of fact checkers.
The FCC want them to stop fooling around with my right to say what I feel.
Well,
Americans, it's a part of who we are.
Because that is really something that didn't happen before.
Does anybody else watch The View? Because I think there's...
I'm going to say one.
Look, there are certain rules of free speech that we must all abide by. But in case anyone needs a refresher, we're going to go over the rules again.
He does not have a right to have a television show where he lies his ass off to the American people.
Well, there are repercussions to spreading lies.
Somebody to get up there, not
all the same people that are in these polite.
Disagree with what Gavin Newsom said, that he doesn't